Transparency is perhaps the buzziest of buzzwords among politicians running for office, but when journalists start asking for public records, they sometimes are met with a roar of disapproval from those who got elected. That's the case with Marisa DeMarco of KUNM Public Radio, who has been asking for arrest reports from this spring's surge of state police officers in Albuquerque. She's trying to find out if it was effective, particularly at combating violent crime, but she's also been giving a litany of excuses from the Department of Public Safety. And so the idea that transparency was going to be the thing, right? The thing coming into office.
That was Governor Martinez's the thing as well.
Absolutely.
I think it's easy to say that you want things to be transparent when you're not talking about yourself, or when you don't yet have the reins of control in government.
And this is very basic information Marisa's looking for here.
It seems like it's very basic information.
Right. And they're really running her around quite a bit when you read the story.
People don't like being contacted by the press in general. I think we know that. It's a little bit scary for some people. But the thing is, the public has made it clear over multiple administrations that it's something that we care about. And so you got to wrap your arms around it eventually. Now, it has been interesting to see that this governor has been very willing to be transparent and fairly quickly with documents from the preceding administration. We've just seen a release of settlement letters, 3 settlements with employees, whistleblowers, et cetera, within the last administration.
That's right.
Will that then roll forward to her own administration?
I'm glad Sophie roped in that second part to this as well. I want to talk about, Lana, and that is this idea of transparency. And do politicians actually take a hit on this? Because every administration seems like we're going to be the most transparent. And they never turn out to be for a lot of reasons, but they never really pay a price if they're running for office that second time, for re-election. You ever notice that? They never really, no one says, you weren't just transparent as you said you were going to be. Is it just noise for politicians?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you pretty much, that's not a big issue.
Right.
It's pretty transparent out there. It's not fully transparent. It could go faster. It could be improved. Sometimes you don't get it. So, but is that comparable to the issues that we face, which are much bigger?
But when you're talking about things like Sophie mentioned, $1 million worth of settlements to 3 women who, for all we know, had very valid claims. The money came, but with not a lot of details in there for $1 million of taxpayer money. Does the public, my second question, give a hoot about this? Do you know what I mean? Is it a big deal with the public as we claim it as it is?
I think that those kinds of things could be really important to a candidate.
Yeah.
During an election if it got out beforehand, right? So then you could use that to talk about corruption in government, and then corruption in government. Now that is an important issue.
That's right.
Transparency, is not as sexy.
It's a tool. It's a tool, and I think people are not necessarily like. We value it, but we're not necessarily going to, as you said, build our vote on the tool. We're going to build our vote on healthcare and public safety and all of the other art. Apparently, if you're from Albuquerque,
that's right.
But not necessarily on that element.
That's right, Eric. When you think about it, though, what Marisa's looking to get at here is just some information about this surge. You would think it was such a big deal that these folks would want to turn around very quickly and show how effective it was. You would think that would be the point here. Why are they delaying?
Well, there seems to be this culture inside law enforcement, right? Which it's kind of this bunker mentality. The more open they feel like they are, body cams, making police reports available. The press is going to spin it the way the press is going to spin it. Like I think of the example of Manny Gonzalez basically saying we don't need these body cams, and he got reelected. People were up in arms, but he got reelected. Like I know a lot of folks are like, we can't even have this basic level of accountability in law enforcement.
That's right.
But I do think nobody puts in any poll that I've ever seen puts transparency even in the top 10 things, even if you ask about them. What they do care about is there we've actually polled on this, is there this idea of this kind of insider, kind of politically connected thing going on? This gets to the settlements when people feel like most of the trial lawyers involved in those settlements are folks who actually are probably Democrats, but that's their stock in trade. But the point about is somebody getting a sweetheart deal, regardless of their party? Are
Right.
they getting a deal? We need to know. And if it looks like it was above board, I don't think people care. But I think if it looks like an insider deal, and it's closed in a back room, in a smoky back room, that's what people, I think, sort of resonates more than transparency for the sake of transparency.
You're probably right on that. Chris, with the idea that this, what we're talking about with DPS, that wasn't going to be available until 2022. And Governor Lujan Grisham, of course, rolled that back and went back to the 6-month criteria when you can release things. Can't we just settle on one or the other? You know, just
Yeah.
the 6-month thing was voted on. It made sense to those people to vote on that.
Yeah.
Why are we having secrecy until 2022?
Well, and it's unfortunate that happens, and I can't answer why we're going to have that secrecy, but sometimes people forget that, so there's two sides to the story, the way that I look at it from a public relations and communications perspective. Like, number one, I was reading a story of other communities and countries that are having, or communities that are having issues with transparency in the police force. And one person had said, transparency is necessary. We have to do something in order for communities like mine to gain the trust in the police again. Hit it on, nail on the head on that one. But at the other aspect, you have to think about if, I have good, close relationships with some of the folks in the city of Albuquerque and PIOs. Like, sometimes they can't be transparent because it actually compromises the investigation that's happening. Then due process is actually going to be in trouble. So if we were to release all of these records so quickly, then what if it actually compromises an investigation, because you never know what you're going to find on the streets of Albuquerque, New Mexico, wherever it might be. And so, if there was to be a better resolution to this problem, I understand Marissa, she has a job to do, and she has to do it because as a journalist, there's a mission to make sure that transparency is key. But at the same time, PIOs or agencies, they have public relation officers or public information officers to help communicate the issue at hand. They just need to work together better. And that's always a common problem when it comes to the different state governments of why are we just not transparent enough?
Right.
Sometimes they, public relations people have to be very calculated with the things that they're saying to the public.
I hear you.
Without a doubt.
Let me swing to Sophie as I finish with you. I do hear that. For the PIO, that's a tough spot. But when you talk about police reports, things that are put to bed, done, do you know what I mean? And I say the same thing I said to Eric. You would think these folks would be motivated to put this out there quickly because the surge was such a big deal.
Well, and what does it
say when they don't?
Naturally raises, whether this is true or not, but what it naturally raises in the minds of the public is a question about, was it successful?
Gotcha.
I mean, certainly we're testing that assertion, testing that theory. Okay, so was it successful? Let's look at the data. And it's worrisome when an agency says, "We'll just take our word for it." Just wink, wink.
That's right.
Going back to Eric's, sort of 10 things that we care about most. We don't know, many of us, whether our government is successful, whether its policies are effective, whether things have been done correctly without that sunshine into the programs, into the issues we care about the most. And that ultimately is why we care about transparency.
We've got a couple things out there. Marisa actually mentioned it in her article on the KUNM website that you've got that arrest of someone that had a marijuana pipe. There's a difference between state law and city ordinance on that. That's a problem.
Remember that.
We had state police officers shoot at a moving car. We don't know what happened with that situation. So I say again, I don't know why they're not just coming right out with this and saying, hey guys, this was the plan, it worked. Maybe something didn't work. I don't know. Arlen takes us to the Gila River next. And then this group is back with how one pharmacy in Española doled out more than 6 million pills over 7 years to a town of about 10,000 people.